Okay, I had a request to do a strip and assembly video for the SKS. So we're going to use my newly acquired Soviet SKS as an example. First thing we want to do, as with any firearms handling, is to verify that the rifle is unloaded. We've got the safety catch in the on position here, and we'll open up the action. You can see there are no rounds present in the magazine, and the chamber is empty. So I have to ease the bolt ahead, close the magazine back up. The first thing we want to do as far as the actual strip and assembly is to remove the top cover. Now, if you look at this part here, this is the top cover latch. You can see this piece here, and it is pulled up to that upper position, and then simply pull it straight out. And when that's in that position, the top cover simply comes back a little bit and can be lifted right off. So we'll set our top cover aside. The next item to be removed is the recoil spring assembly. That's a one-piece unit which is just withdrawn from the back of the bolt. The assembly consists of a few parts. If you want to take this recoil spring assembly down, you have to pull back on the spring. And this is kind of tricky because you can actually launch all the parts into orbit. I better set this down on the table. And I better not put any marks on the table here, so I'll use the top cover. You can pull the spring down, pull that retainer off. We can take our spring off, and as you can see, there's a guide rod which is actually goes in this way, and then the thicker guide tube, and I don't think I'll bother taking that out. It is basically shoved in the back of the spring like that. So I don't normally take these down, but I thought I'd just show you. Oh, there we go, it freed up. So there's the guide tube, the guide rod, the spring, and the retainer. So to put that back together again, simply put the tube in the back of the spring, put the rod through the tube like that until it falls forward, and then the tricky part, which is basically compressing the spring. You want to compress the spring enough that you can get the retainer over the end. There's a flat spot on that which slips over, and then you can let the spring tension go. So that's how that goes together. Next thing is remove the actual bolt itself, and you just simply pull the bolt to the rear. You can lift the bolt carrier right off. It's a big beefy part. Bolt carrier is one piece, so we'll set that aside. Okay, the next item to be removed from the rifle is the bolt. It will generally stay behind in the bottom of the receiver when you take the bolt carrier out. Just lift it out of the way. Important thing with the SKS as far as maintenance goes is to ensure that the firing pin, you can see the firing pin there sticking at the front of the bolt, you want to make sure that that's free to move. You don't want any rust or dirt or anything to impede its free movement. Should the firing pin be frozen in a forward position by rust or dirt, the rifle will fire when you go to load it. It'll generally fire in an unlocked condition, which can rupture the case head. That can damage the rifle and more importantly you. Also, you would end up with a round firing when you weren't prepared, which is obviously a very bad thing. So generally you don't have to take the firing pin out to maintain it. What I would do is flush around the firing pin hole at the front and in around this channel at the back with some solvent. Flush it out good, dry it off, put a few drops of light gun oil in there, work it. If you've had the rifle in storage for a while and you're going to go shoot it, take the bolt out and inspect the firing pin to make sure that it is in fact still free. Things happen to guns when they're in storage that we don't think happen. Always best to take the firing pin or the bolt out and inspect the firing pin before you go to shoot it. But as they say, better safe than sorry. So I'm not going to go into taking the firing pin and the extractor out. Generally you can spray some cleaner in around these, wipe them down, put a couple of drops of oil in. I don't think it's worthwhile to take it apart every time. Occasionally it's probably a good thing to do, but I'm not going to get into that in this video because it takes too long. Alright, so moving on from the top part of the rifle, we'll go around and we'll work on the bottom. Now, in order to take the trigger group out, let's see if I can get some light on this, there is a latch right here where I'm showing the end of the punch. There's a latch here and it's got a little indentation in it, and basically you want to have the safety catch on and then you want to tap that latch in to pop the trigger mech off. So I'm just going to set the rifle down on the table and we'll get our punch here. We'll place it against the catch, and I've got a plastic and rubber faced hammer here. Just going to give this a bit of a tap. Although first I'm going to put something under this rifle. It's getting a little wobbly. There we go. And that popped free. So with that free, just simply lift the back end up, pull it ahead, and there's our trigger mech. You don't really have to disassemble this any further to clean it. Usual thing, clean all the dirt and carbon off it. Use some solvent on any really dirty parts. Oil it. Should be good to go. The next thing to take out is the magazine assembly. Lift the rear of it and withdraw it, and it's a pretty straightforward piece of kit as well. This one's got the riveted in block in it because of our Canadian laws about mag caps in semi-autos. Anyway, so there's not anything further to be done with that other than wipe it down, re-oil it. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take the gas piston assembly and the gas tube off. Now, the catch for that is located right here. That's the latch. We want to flip that up. But this rifle, it's actually reasonably easy to manipulate. It can be pried up like that. With some of the rifles, you will need to you'll need to get a tool to pry that up because it can be quite stiff on some of them, but this one's pretty obliging. So the catch has to be in about that position there. You can see the catch there, and with it there we can pull the back end of the top handguard and the gas tube and simply remove that from the rifle. So we've got set this aside. We've got the gas piston inside, and when you're cleaning the rifle you want to make sure that you get the carbon and all the goop off the front of this. This could use a bit more cleaning. You can see there's chrome plating on the front, but it's plain steel at the back. The gas tube, that needs to be cleaned inside. Get the carbon out of there. Use a brush and some solvent. If you've been shooting corrosively primed ammunition, you'll need to take the priming residue out of that or it'll rust very badly. A little bit of actually just soap and water on a patch. You can clean the inside of that out and then oil it. That'll keep it from rusting. Good idea to scrub the piston too with a little bit of soap and water to get the corrosive priming residue off that as well. Dry it off, oil it lightly at the back. You want to keep the front end of it pretty much oil free. A little note about oiling the inside of this, don't overdo it. A very light coat of oil is all you need. If you put too much on, it'll bake into a hard carbonized goo and it'll be hard to clean off. But if you leave it completely dry, it'll probably rust. So even something like WD-40 would be all you'd need. Lightly sprayed in a patch, wiped out, just a light coat. Further to maintenance on these, you can see the gas block at the front here. You want to clean inside that with the same solvent. There's also, I would also probably recommend using a pipe cleaner to clean in the gas port hole, which is at the bottom there. Same idea, this is in contact with corrosive gases, so you want to make sure you clean it up good, and once again give it a light coat of oil for storage, but don't overdo it. Once we've removed the top handguard, gas piston, etc., there's an additional component behind that which needs to be removed, and it's a transfer rod which is located underneath the rear sight block. To remove that, place your thumb at the front here and put some pressure on that component. Lift the latch up further, and with that latch lifted up, you can ease your thumb ahead and remove the transfer rod and its spring. And these components basically transfer the push from the gas piston back to the bolt carrier group. Pretty straightforward. A little bit of light oil on that when you're finished cleaning it is all you need. You got to take the action out of the stock next, and we're going to have to remove the cleaning rod first. So we'll unfold the bayonet slightly here because it holds the cleaning rod in place, and then we'll remove the cleaning rod. I don't use the cleaning gear that comes with the rifle or the cleaning rod, just because it's more of a field type unit. I find it's a lot easier just to use my home cleaning gear when I'm here. But I mean, this can be used with the cleaning kit which usually comes with these rifles, but I generally just leave it on there for display. Might as well unfold the bayonet and latch it in its open position. So from here we can lift the barreled action out of the stock. Just lift the back end of the action up, and you can see where the front fits into that retainer. Just pull it off. So there's our barreled action removed, and there's our stock. So I'm just going to lay all the parts out here so you can have a look at all the parts disassembled. So there's the disassembled components of the rifle, kind of laid out in relative proximity to where they go on the frame. A few comments on cleaning the bore of the rifle. The rifle of course does come with the cleaning rod, which I said I don't generally use because it's not a terribly convenient solution when you're cleaning from home. I generally clean the rifle from the breech end, which is usually a superior way to clean any rifle. With the retaining latch pulled over to the side, I don't have my long cleaning rod up here with me, but you can clean from this end, and if you have a long enough cleaning rod you can clean the entire barrel from the back, which is much better. Alright, so let's put this thing back together again now that we've had it apart, and obviously it's in reverse. So the first thing to do is put the stock back on. So you can see we've got the retainer at the front here. So we'll just slip the wood into that, and pivot the stock down until it bottoms out. The next thing we'll do is put the magazine assembly back in. There's a latch right in here. Get my punch out here and point it out to you. Probably won't show up on camera very well. There's a latch right there, and it basically is hooked onto by the front of the magazine. So we'll hook that in, push it down until it stops, and the next thing we want to do is insert the trigger group back in. There are some little pins here on that. You can see those pins right there by my finger. They engage with these little lugs here on the receiver, the bottom of the receiver, right below where the punch is indicating. So I need to insert the front end of the trigger group in until it catches those lugs, and then we want to tap. It's best if you set the rifle flat and take something like a rubber face mallet and give the trigger guard a tap. And that'll snap it back into place. Alright, we'll install the transfer rod back underneath the rear sight assembly. Shove that in the hole and push it in with your thumb until it's all the way in there. Turn the latch down to about that position there, and that will retain that rod in place. Next thing, we want to reinsert the gas piston into the tube, and this is a little tricky because usually the piston wants to flop around on you. So we will latch at first the front over the gas block and then slide the rear in, and then we'll snap the catch into place. Next item to go in is the bolt. The bolt is reinstalled with the extractor in this position. So the extractor should be facing top and to the right of the rifle. With that in place, we'll put the bolt carrier on top of that, obviously with the charging handle to the right. So we'll set that on top of the bolt and press down, and a little bit of wiggling there. With that pushed down and the magazine follower pushed out of the way, the bolt can be pushed all the way to the front. Next we'll reinstall the recoil spring assembly. It just goes in the back of the bolt carrier like that. And the final component to go back on is the top cover. These lugs here will fit underneath the bolt carrier. And a little trick here is to make sure that the operating spring is up in the air a little bit so that it doesn't get bound up. And it's not going to be cooperative. If I can keep that up in the air. There we go. So just push that ahead, put a bit of pressure on it with your thumb, push the latch through, snap it back down, and the rifle is reassembled. You want to check to make sure that the action functions, the hold open's working. And there we go. A completely reassembled SKS. Thanks for watching.